empowers me to win. My pain and my oppression, let your blood and my acceptance. You're going to say Barada to Pal, Caleb.
Hello.
Barada, croeso I Capel Galedi. Barada. So, enw fi di Rachel. My name is Rachel and I co-lead Lighthouse Church here on Anglesey. I'm a mum to Caleb and to Babi Rhys, who's 6 months old, and moved to Anglesey almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to tell everybody what your name is, Caleb?
Caleb.
Caleb! What's your full name? Can you tell everyone? What's your full name?
Tell.
Caleb what?
Caleb.
Caleb. What's your second name? Do you know? You got some? Caleb what?
Caleb. What
Right.
else?
Right. What's your surname? Rad. This is going great, isn't it? My co-leader, you're doing a fantastic job. Caleb Radbourne, isn't it?
Caleb Radbourne.
Oh, yeah. So we get the pleasure of leading you guys this morning on online church, or as we like to call it in our house, church on telly. We've got Chromecast and we can Chromecast it over. But it's fantastic having you guys with us this morning to gather. Oh, we're ready for biscuits in a minute. Yeah, well, that's coming up next. To gather corporately, physically online, if that makes sense. I love kind of thinking it of like, there is so much dodgy stuff on internet, isn't there? And we are like claiming a bit of the internet as we gather together as Lighthouse Church to proclaim and worship the name of Jesus online during this season of COVID-19. So if you're new to Lighthouse Church, what have you got there? Biscuits. Well, we hope you guys are feeling really warm and welcome wherever you are. I hope you've got a cup of tea or a coffee, biscuits or whatever. But we are Lighthouse Church Capel Galedi, and we are really passionate about serving our community here on Ynysmôn. And we have a mission statement which kind of everything comes under, which is following Jesus. Oh, hang on, love. We're going to do biscuits and chat in 1 second, which is following Jesus, building community and loving Anglesey. Dilyn Iesu, adeiladu cymuned a caru Môn. And we thought this morning, I don't know about you, but I'm really missing some of our kids and they're growing up so much, and because we're online, we don't get to see them. And so I thought this little treasure could help us lead for the beginning part this morning. And you're going to help us lead the kids bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a cup of tea and a drink, aren't we, Caleb?
Yeah.
And we're going to ask you guys, how's your week been? Because normally at church we have a cup of tea at the start and a bit of juice, don't we?
Yeah.
And we catch up with everybody and we say, how's your week been? Like, what's God doing? What's difficult at the moment? What do you need prayer for? And so we'd love to hear you guys now. So please comment, what's made you smile this week? But also, what actually are you really needing prayer? Either for yourself or someone you know or something in community. We really like, this is the stuff that we miss when we can't meet physically, the stuff that just comes out in conversation over a cuppa, over a paned. So let's get on to comments and see what has made you smile this week. And also, what do you want us as a community to stand with you in prayer? So yeah, we're going to have a biscuit now while we wait for the comments to come in. Caleb, what's made you smile this week? What's made you smile this week? Peace has made you smile this week. How come Peace has made you smile? Oh, you're going to let me have a biscuit too? Oh, thank you. I don't know if I can talk and eat a biscuit. I don't think that'd be nice for people to watch. Here's your juice. Here's Mum's cup of tea. So yeah, what's made you smile? So Peace has made you smile this week.
It makes smile.
What else has made you smile this week? What did Tide pick up on Thursday? hear you. Say that again. What did Tide pick up on Thursday? A tractor. And have you enjoyed being on the tractor? Has that made you smile this week? Yeah, fantastic. And what about something that we could pray for you, Caleb? What big thing is happening tomorrow? Talk over there so people can hear you. What's starting tomorrow? Where are you going for the first time?
Kilmaitrin.
You're going to Kilmaitrin tomorrow for the first time. Caleb's starting Kilmaitrin, so that'd be really good for us to know and keep you in our prayers as you go off tomorrow for the first time to Kilmaitrin. We're going to be chatting to God, aren't we, to help him make you brave? Yeah. So what about you guys? What has made you smile this week? Kenan says winning chicken or heroes twice. I have no idea what that means, Kenan. I'm presuming it's something to do with you. So I don't know what's winning chicken or hero. Is that something to do with youth? The youth gathered on Thursday night in the beach. This time not in the pouring rain, which is great, and they had a great time. So good, Canon, if that is youth. Ellen says that school has made her smile. She's so glad to be back. You know that is so good to hear because I think everyone was feeling just before they went back, oh, what's it going to be like? So it's so good to hear that actually it's really good. It's really good to be back, learning, being with friends. Kat saying mum's new 2 front teeth. Oh, new teeth. Have you got any new teeth, Caleb? No, we need to find a dentist. We do for you, darling. Terrible mother at the moment. Katrin made chicken pie last night, says Barry. Oh, lovely. Katrin, you are a very talented young lady, aren't you? You're baking, cooking, singing, amazing. Kim, I smiled when I found 2 sets of John's school uniform in a charity shop for £1 each. Now, that's the kind of thing that makes me smile, Kim. I absolutely love a bargain. That is fantastic. Oh, Bronnie and Mally's been making some fantastic comments. Very good. And Beth Ann's been able to do some pottery painting. Oh, amazing. I love all the creative stuff that is coming out. That is brilliant. You will notice that if I stand over here, our fantastic artwork from Anne Moore, which was something that she really felt a few months ago, God speaking to her and wanted to share it as a gift to the church. Put it there, that's great. I'll put it on there just in case it falls. And what we'd love to do is each week have different artwork on the walls because we know that loads of you are hearing from God, and whether it's knitting or painting or drawing, graffiti art. I know Rio, you can do some amazing stuff like that. Then would you guys be up for just asking God, is there something you want me to share with the whole church? And would you take a picture of it and email it to us? Or if it's easy to do, drop it off or put it in the post and just put a little bit of what you feel like God's saying through the artwork. And then each week we can have it there and you guys can kind of share what God's saying to you through artwork. So that would be amazing. Oh, right, so who else have we got? Oh, Mayos, bollock down, Mayos. We hope you guys are doing well. Alan and Caleb loved their t-shirts, by the way. Mike Mayo, check it out. His website, Jordan Haley, has created and designed Welsh t-shirts. Amazing. So Caleb with his trumpet, I think he's calling us to worship. Is that right? Oh, what are we going to do before worship though? We were going to do a little game, weren't we? Do you remember? I don't know about you, but we've been doing lots of growing this year. We're really, for this, really fortunate to have an allotment. So Caleb, shall we show everyone this? So I don't know if you can see these. Maybe Caleb can help me hold them up. What have we got, Caleb? What's this? What is it? Do you remember? Courgette. It's a courgette. So that is massive, isn't it? Let's put that one down. Now this, we can't claim this. This is a cucumber. I think someone gave it to us yesterday. Was it Sue Jennings? They're amazing. Never been able to grow cucumber. What's this, Caleb? A carrot. A moron. And what about this? What's this? What's it called? Do you remember? A squash. So Ty's been busy planting and then harvesting them this week. What's this?
Onion.
An onion.
What's
What?
this?
Oh, what's that one called? Is it called a beetroot?
Beetroot.
A beetroot. We haven't done very well on our beetroots this year. I know some people in our community who have done excellent growing and much better our beetroots and not really done very well. But we are doing amazing with our apples, aren't we?
Yeah.
Lots of apples on our apple trees that we're enjoying. And so we wanted to read a bit of the Bible. And so kids.
And it's that.
Oh, yeah. Caleb has got something for us. So I'm going to read from the Bible what we're going to do each week while we're online church. What's this?
Cucumber.
A cucumber, that's right. And there's some special writing on it as well, isn't there? Psalm 119 says, I have stored up your word in my heart so that I might not sin against it. And so over these next few weeks, we're going to try and learn a bit of scripture together. All right, kids and actually adults, this is good for us to do as well. So, Caleb, can I ask you to hold the cucumber a sec? Do a swap. There we go. I'm going to put the massive courgette down. And I'm going to read from Galatians. So this is Galatians 5, from 19 to 26.
Can you hold it?
Okay. Where are you going? Okay. It says, the acts of the sinful nature are obvious. Sexual immorality, impurity and debauchery, idolatry and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambitions, dissensions, factions and envy, drunkenness, orgies and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. Come here, you monkey. If you're leading, we've got to be able to hear the Bible, Caleb. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Self-control. Well, there we go. So, guys, the first fruit of the Spirit that we're going to look at is this. Cariad. Okay? And so each week, we're going to be asking one of our youth or kids to find a fruit and find the next fruit of the Spirit. Okay? So this week, the first fruit of the Spirit on our cucumber is cariad, love. And yes, you'll notice there are pins in it because the sellotape wouldn't work, would it, Caleb? So we hope you've enjoyed our family catch up at the beginning. Caleb is going to say ta-ta now. Caleb, thank you so much for leading with me for the beginning part. And we hope you've really enjoyed seeing some of the little ones. We know it makes it a bit more carnage, but it's just good. That's what church is about. It's about a bit messiness and with families and everything like that. We love it here at Lighthouse. So we're going to go into some time of worship now. So Caleb is going to say ta-ta because you're going to head down with your bubbles, aren't you? And do some worship. Yeah? So do you want to say ta-ta to everybody? Ta-ta. And off he goes as I hand over to Kate William to lead us in some worship.
Walking around these walls, I thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me yet. promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail me yet. I know the nights won't last. Your word will come to pass. My heart will sing your praise again. Jesus, you're still enough. Keep me within your love. My heart will sing your praise again. Hallelujah. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail me yet. Hallelujah. I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I see you do it again. I've seen you move the mountain, and I believe I see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I see you do it again. I see you do it again. I see you do it again. You'll do it again, Lord. You'll do it again, Lord. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail me yet. You never fail me yet. I won't forget, Lord.
Before we go into the next song, I'm just going to pray. Arglwydd, diolch am dy ffyddlondeb. Father God, thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you that you are with us in these times. You're with us right now in our kitchens, lounges, bedrooms, wherever we are. Father God, your faithfulness has continued right from the very beginning, when you breathed life into this earth and created us and this beautiful earth that we live in. You've been faithful to us over centuries and centuries, even when we've turned away. And now in 2020, as churches find a way to gather and worship you, Father God, in the strangest of times, we know that you are doing a great thing amongst us. You are doing a new thing. Father, we thank you for your faithfulness. Do it again, Lord. Just send another move of God to a nation that so needs you. Father God, just particularly this morning, wherever we are, as we try and navigate this next season together as a church, as the body of Christ, would you just outpour on us a fresh outpouring of your grace, a fresh outpouring of your love. Arglwydd gyda mwy o dy ras I ddisgyn arna ni bore yma, wrth I ni godi dy enw di, Iesu Grist. Amen.
I can't go back to the beginning. Can't control what tomorrow will bring. But I know here in the middle is a place where you promised to be. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? And as I walk now through the valley, let your love rise above every fear. And like the sun shaping to shadow, and in my weakness your glory appears. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? Who meets us, Lord? We are nothing without you. And not for a minute was I forsaken. The Lord is in this place. The Lord is in this place. Come, Holy Spirit, dry bones awaken. The Lord is in this place. The Lord is in this place. We are lost. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? Spirit, dry bones awaken. The Lord is in this place. The Lord is in this place.
And as we just say, come Holy Spirit, you meet me here again. I'm just sensing that like we need to just declare who Jesus is and his faithfulness. Because when we gather as the body of Christ, we are meeting in Jesus' name, aren't we? And Eno Jesu Christ. And even though we're not physically gathered declaring that right now, we are in the online space. And so I just encourage you, just don't leave this place of worship right now. The Holy Spirit is here. And we have got these amazing ability now to be able to comment in there. And so just right now, as we just declare the Holy Spirit is here, come meet us again, then wherever you are on your phone, computer, why not start typing now who Jesus is? As we gather in the name of Jesus, declare the name of Jesus right now. So Jesus, I just want to say in your name, as we gather today, that you, Lord, are faithful. That Jesus Christ, when all of this craziness, I just declare that you are faithful.
Hi guys, if you can see me. Right. We'll be back in a minute, hopefully. Let me just have a look.
Can you guys hear us?
That's deconnected.
Can you guys hear us now? I know there'll be a delay, but just
Okay.
let us know if you can hear us and see us now. That would be really helpful if you just comment as soon as you can hear us and see us. There we go. How are we doing?
Okay, try that. We might be on.
Yay! Okay. Alan, thank you. Give me a hug. Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. I don't know about you. So literally, just I don't know how much you heard of me before it cut out. But what I was asking everyone to do was in this physical space of the internet to start declaring the names of Jesus. And what I was saying was we're gathered in the name of Jesus wherever we are right now. And then the internet cut off. So I'm almost like, right then, we're going to really go for it this time and declare over the internet the name of Jesus, his faithfulness, his mercy, his compassionate nature, his mighty, his power and strength, because I feel like we're in a bit of a spiritual battle here, just as we're going to declare the name of Jesus on the internet for all sorts of people to come across. Our internet cuts out. So, Catholic Lady, Lighthouse Church, are you with me? Just get on your phone, get on your computer, and just let's not leave that place of worship, even though internet has tried to cut us off. Jesus, you are meeting here with us again, as Kate just sang over us. The Holy Spirit, come now. And we just declare and just comment, guys, like we kind of normally would, and just shout out the name of Jesus. We can't shout that out because we can't hear each other, but we can comment and still lift his name high here on the internet. And so, Father God, we just declare that you are faithful, that you never leave us. Father God, we just declare that you are a responsive God, that your goodness is everlasting. And so, guys, just I encourage you, lift up, and I'll start reading them out. So we've got, he is Jehovah, our provider. Amen. Yes. Come on, church. What else? Let's declare the name of Jesus on the internet right now. Just keep going. Just whatever the Holy Spirit is nudging you, just share that with our community this morning. Where the internet or whatever's going on, whether it's the enemy, whether it's just a technical glitch, we just actually declare and say, no, this space on the internet right now is to lift up God's name high. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Yes, Jesus is Lord. Amen. Yeah. Father God, we just thank you for what you're doing in us individually and in us corporately during this season. Arglwydd, just tyrd ag arllwys mwy a mwy o dy ysbryd glân arna ni. Diolch Arglwydd. Diolch dy fod ti'n iwr. Iesu Grist, Arglwydd iwr. Father God. He is our salvation and Redeemer, healer and friend. We declare you are a mighty God and we eagerly anticipate your goodness today. Yes, Kat, he is our King. So good. I am just going to encourage you guys just to keep posting those things. Holl alluog, yes, Barry, amen. So good. Just keep taking this ground, just keep taking and declaring this physical kind of internet space for Jesus. He's our protector and our comforter. Yes, Bethan, fantastic. And as you guys do that, I'm going to hand over to our head of trustees, Jez Cromie. He's a fantastic man of God. Over in Loughborough, we've known him for over 10 years, and he's responsible for the corporate gathered church, making sure that we look after everyone, all of safeguarding, make sure we spend our money really wisely. And because it's Giving Sunday this morning, we wanted him to just give a little update to give you guys a chance to hear from him before I then hand over to Alan, who's going to speak to us today about Giving Sunday and the heart of giving.
Hello Lighthouse Church, my name's Jez and I'm the Chair of Trustees, and on behalf of the Trustees wanted to send a quick message to say just how encouraged we are with what's happening at Lighthouse Church. It's great hearing the little stories of lives being touched and changed, and slowly more and more people joining the church, which is fantastic. And also big well done during the last 6 months, which has been a hugely challenging time on all sorts of levels, but the way you have adapted, got creative, got online, but also the way you've really stood with one another. And it's just been brilliant hearing the stories of the church stepping up and loving one another and Anglesey. We're excited about the vision of what's to come in the next 12 months, excited for what God's got in store for you. And we want to just send our prayers and our love, encourage you to keep being brave and courageous with what God's calling you to. Just to finish, just wanted to say a big thank you to Alan Radbourne, who's just done a brilliant job stepping up, bringing leadership over the last 9 months or so while Rachel's been on maternity. So big thank you, Alan, and lots of love from the trustees, and hopefully be able to come and visit soon. See ya.
Brilliant, thanks Jez. And I know I'm biased, but I do just want to echo what Jez said at the end there. Just thank you to Alan Radbourne. You guys might not know kind of the chronology of things, but basically we had Rhys on the 13th of March, and then obviously the church had to go online the week after. So with a newborn baby, Alan used his paternity leave to essentially take the whole church online to be able to gather, to put things in place quickly so that people could still stay connected, whilst then still working for his job at CEH in Bangor. And he's done that without any fuss, just got on. And I just want to thank him so much for the way that he has led this community. Alan, you have such a humble heart and have just done an amazing job at just keeping us focused on the mission to keep going towards Jesus, keep focused on Jesus, even when we've all been a bit unsure and scared and maybe even divided. You've kept us focused on King Jesus. So we just want to thank you and honour you for that. So here he is now, a fantastic man who has journeyed a lot around finances over the last particularly 15 years, been on a real journey. And so over to you, Alan.
Okay, hi guys. So following on from last week, I'm going to add a bit more meat to the bones of our vision and how we plan to resource it. There was a letter that went out about the church's current financial position this week on Wednesday. If you haven't received that, then do get in touch with us and I would love to share that information with you. It gives a bit more detail and just rounds this off a little bit more. But today I'm going to try and go through this as quickly as possible. There is loads I would love to go through with you. But I'm going to start off by explaining a bit of a biblical standpoint for why we talk about money and why this is so important to our personal discipleship. And then we will move on to the Lighthouse Church financial position and what our budget looks like in this next year, and talk about this faith gap that we have to grow into over the next year or two. So, first of all, I'm going to begin with this background into a biblical foundation of why we deal with money and what we do with it. So, first of all, when we talk about money, how do you feel? What kind of feelings does it bring up for you? Maybe there's a desire within you for more. Maybe there is always a worry or anxiety around money. How do you feel about talking about your personal finances? Are they quite a private thing? Are you a bit nervous or jealous of other people? Well, how about when the church speaks about money? What kind of feelings simmer to the surface? You see, Jesus talked about money all the time. 16 of his 38 parables were related to money and possessions. So that is 42% of Jesus' main canon of teaching. The parable stories that we've been going through this summer were about money and possessions. In the Gospels, 1 out of every 10 verses, so 288 in all, deal directly with the subject of money. And the Bible offers 500 verses on prayer, less than 500 verses on faith, but over 2,000 verses on money and possessions. You see, it is a big, big topic, and it is something that the church, broader, but also as a Lighthouse Church, need to wake up to and begin to speak about more and be accountable with our money. Can you imagine if we changed our teaching series that 42% of everything that we taught was about money and possessions? Like, I get the feeling probably we might not have people come back after a little while, but there is clearly a link that the Bible writers and Jesus knew, that there was a link between money and our heart posture. There is something at the very core of the human nature that is drawn towards money and possessions. And if we don't pass that over to God, in whatever form that looks like, it can soon just rot away at our very core. It demands an openness around our money and our finances. And this is quite pioneering. This is quite nerve-wracking for lots of people. It isn't the cultural norm to talk about finances and our personal finance and giving. But when has that ever stopped us as a community before? When have we ever stopped and said, oh, let's not do that. That's not the cultural norm. So I want to quickly share 3 key messages around giving and finances, and then we will go on to the church's position. So first of all, we need to understand that everything is God's and we steward it. From creation in Genesis 2, we were given the mandate to look after and steward creation and all that we have. And this has shifted so that often our money and possessions, we feel as though we've worked hard for this, we deserve this, or so on. But we neglect the fact to recognize that actually, first and foremost, everything is God's. And we just have the privilege of being able to steward that. Second point is you cannot serve both God and money. Matthew 6:24 is the key one here that says, no one can serve 2 masters, for you will hate one and love the other. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. See, how much time do you spend thinking about God? And how much time do you spend thinking about money? Does this balance reflect your priorities? You see, money, we cannot let control us. We ultimately serve God first. There's an often misquoted scripture in 1 Timothy 6:17 and 19 that says, in 6 verses 6 to 10, that talks about the love of money is the root of all evil. And it's often misquoted to say that money is evil and that we should not deal with it. But the key is actually what the writer is saying here is that it's the love of money that is the root of evil. It is this desire for more riches, for more and more and more. And that again is where we cannot serve money and God. We must ultimately know that everything is God's, the first point. And then secondly, we must know that we must serve God first and foremost. Francis Bacon is famous for saying, money is a great servant, but a bad master. This again referring to the heart posture that we have, this discipline of serving God first and letting money be a resource for that, not letting money control that. And then the third point is we are called to excel in giving. Many church sessions begin and end with giving, and I believe that it's time soon for us to go more into money and possessions and power and all that surrounds that. But the thing I want to communicate today is that often people think, well, how much should I give? What is the right thing so that I can tick the box? But I think that this is the wrong way of looking at it. To excel in giving means, firstly, we go to God and say, God, this is all yours. And then instead of asking, how much should I give? Why don't we change the language and begin to ask, God, how much should I keep of this? If we change that language around, I think it will unlock something in our hearts that releases this burden and pressure on money and possessions. That means that, God, this is all yours. How much can I keep and steward? Not how much should I give? Because that comes from a position of, well, we own this, what should we give away? 2 Corinthians 8 verse 7 says, but since you excel in everything, in faith, in speech, in knowledge, in complete earnestness and love, we have kindled in you. See that you also excel in the grace of giving. I love almost the little ironic tone here, where he's saying like, oh, you have excelled in faith and speech and knowledge. You guys are doing so well. But how about we start to excel in giving as well? How about we hand that over to God as well? Not just what we say, not just what we do, not just all the knowledge we have, not just the faith we have, but why don't we also excel in giving too? How much more will that unlock on our discipleship journey and release that pressure that money can so often have on us? See, giving is as much a spiritual discipline as worship or prayer or singing or whatever that is. Giving can unlock something in our hearts that means that we can accept the first point, that everything is God's. And the second point, that we serve God first, not money. And then we can excel in giving. So John Wesley was a hero of the faith, and throughout his life, he capped his outgoing expenditure. And so as his income rose and rose and rose, he just went further and further and further with his giving. It is such an inspiration for us to think about that as our finances ebb and flow, and we all go through seasons where sometimes we feel quite poor, sometimes we feel quite rich. But in those seasons, how are we living well with our finances, but also giving well? That even in those times when we feel as though we don't have much, that we're still actually sowing into the kingdom of heaven. And then in those times where we're feeling quite flush, we can be even more generous and have that overflow. John Wesley said, I cannot help leaving my books behind me wherever God calls me hence. But in every other respect, my own hands will be my executors. In other words, I will put a control on my spending, and I will go beyond the tithe for the sake of Christ and his kingdom. If you'd like a guideline on what sort of a good baseline is, a biblical baseline for giving, is the traditional tithe. And the traditional tithe was given to the temple. So this tended to be crops and grain or animals or whatever your industry was. You would give to support the Levites, which were the priests, the people of God that looked after the temple. And that was around 10%. Now, I believe that that is just a guideline, that there may be seasons where actually 10% our hearts don't quite are just physically we just aren't quite able to do that. And then there'll be other times in our life where we can give way beyond the 10% traditional tithe, like Wesley. But the key thing I want to say here is that this 10% of your income, I believe that it is good that it goes to church first and foremost, and then giving on top of that. So going towards the temple. Now, how you divide that up, I suppose, is up to you, because one of the key things here is the idea of the cheerful giver. 2 Corinthians 9, verse 6 and 7 says, remember this, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Each of you should give what you've decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. And my question on this is always, well, how do we give cheerfully? Does this mean that we don't give if we don't want to? Does it suggest a selfish gain to receive more because we've given more? But again, this comes down ultimately to this heart issue. It's very core. Giving releases this hold that money can have on our heart. Giving is good for you. And so again, maybe we need to approach this situation as, God, everything that I have is yours. What can I keep? Okay, so let's move on to the church financial position. Well, in the last year, we have seen an amazing overflow of generosity from both inside and outside the church, with a number of large one-off gifts, people sacrificially giving throughout the year, which has meant that our income, where we had projected an income of around 25,000, it was nearer to £40,000 incoming. The key from this was the number in standing orders increasing, and some large one-off gifts, which often were related to a standing order as well, which has just been really helpful for us to plan forward for this next year. Like, having standing orders means that we can budget more effectively, whereas irregular one-off gifts are more difficult to plan for. Thank you so much for all that have given, whether it is a standing order or a one-off gift or irregular giving. All of it is fantastic, and it helps to resource what we are doing as a church. So thank you so much. But also on that, do consider giving by standing order, because it just means that we can plan and resource so much better going forwards. Also on that, gift aid is really, really important. If you can, if we can reclaim gift aid on your behalf, please do sign the form and let us have that, because that's 25% on every pound you give. So that was 11% of our income last year, which is really, really vital. So our outgoing, because our income has massively outstripped our outgoing, we are in this fantastic position. Plus, our outgoing was much reduced over last year, especially in the last 6 months, where Rach went on maternity leave and statutory maternity pay has paid for that, which we hadn't budgeted for, and also reduced outgoings due to COVID, which means that our outgoings have massively dropped over the last 6 months. So we have saved quite a lot of money. Going forward, we are going to see increases in the cost because of COVID. For example, having to hire venues for small groups to be able to safely meet means that we are going to have higher outgoings over the next however long these guidelines go on for. So they should balance out. But obviously, on last year's financial year, it looks as though we had a really low outgoing and a really high incoming, which overall left us in a position where we had about £20,000 net positive income from the year, which has left us in an incredibly healthy position as a church. So again, thank you all so much. So from this foundation, what are we going to do? Well, we've managed to hone the budget a little bit more and shift some budget areas around from what we find that we do. So, for example, online promotion that is free, you guys sharing and inviting people personally is so much more effective than print related things, especially at the minute people don't want to be receiving leaflets. So we've cut a huge amount of that budget and so on. But the big changes that we want to make is investing more and more in people. And we plan to recruit 2 new members of staff to our staff team in the next year, probably around January. First of all, an administrative role to raise the bar on what we can do organisationally and through our communication. If we're honest, we have really reached a capacity of what me and Rach can do. And obviously, I work full time. Rachel has only had 10 hours to date to do everything involved with church. And so we've really reached a limit in our capacity. That is where Church Suite is coming in, the program that will manage all of this for us in one single place. That will be rolling out in the next few weeks. But this administrative role with someone just with more gifting and more knowledge on these things to raise our bar is going to be incredible. And the second role is our community engagement lead position. So this person will do things like head up, make lunch, engage with local council and people, just spread the network out there to love people. They will very much champion our loving Anglesey mission and keep us pointing outwards, not letting us become insular and too focused on what we do, but get us out there into the community, sharing the gospel of Jesus and bringing hope. And so this is such an exciting movement for us to, something so in our DNA, to go out there and pioneer and honour people in our community by loving them and loving Anglesey. So additionally, in investing in people, Rach is going to move from 10 hours to 18 hours. This again in January. This shift means that we'll just see so much gold come from her alongside the administrative role and a bigger staff team. So Rach will manage that team. She will just be pushing into teaching that is really on her heart and investing and developing leaders. And so we've got a big budget as well for developing other leaders, developing you guys with all that you have and the giftings you have, and drawing more and more of the gold out of members in our community as they are raised up and released. And Rach having more time to be able to intentionally invest in some people will be really key to this. So that is an exciting development over this next year. Also, there is Make Lunch that will obviously receive a large chunk of budget to make that happen in whatever form that looks like. There was a meeting yesterday to discuss what that can look like. But obviously our community lead role will really champion that and take that forward. And so our planned budget does mean that we have quite a large deficit, or what we like to call a faith gap of around £8,600, which may seem like a massive amount of money. Well, it really is. But the key thing here is from the foundation that we are on, because of amazing giving in the past, we believe now is the right time to sow into accelerating this growth and to keep on growing as a church. So where probably this budget is something we should be looking at implementing in a year or 2 or even 3 years' time, we think because of this foundation, along with the trustees, we have agreed that we can look into drawing down some of the cash savings to be able to invest forward, to accelerate growth and to see that stuff, the visions that we have for 2 years' time, to see that happening here and now. Obviously, there are some COVID-related shifts, as I've mentioned, which means that the budget is a bit more skewed from what it would be outside of the COVID period, with quite a lot of money going into small group venue hire. But that is really key for us to stick to the guidelines and respect government guidance. So we as a church are a growing church and we want to continue to grow. And that means that setting this bigger budget for us to grow into over the next 12 or 24 months is going to be really, really important. Now, I would love to see that faith gap met today or over the next week as people reflect on their giving and maybe increase and are just pushing themselves more and more into that biblical foundation that we heard earlier. But I also recognise there is a lot of money for us as a small community to cover, especially in uncertain times financially for many. So it is very much something we are going to grow into and that is heading forward. And from our foundation, it is a secure investment and sowing in. But we are really looking forward to seeing what the outcome of today is after the amazing outpouring this time last year on Giving Sunday. But we also want to come back to this and reflect on this throughout the year. Not for this just to be a once a year, we have a look at our money and then we forget about it. Don't forget, 42% of Jesus' parables were about money and possessions. So we are going to also raise the bar on teaching and looking into that. So the useful graphic on the screen just shows the savings that we have had over the last 6 months and how our outgoing is going to ramp up over the next few months into January. And then we'll be running at this monthly faith gap deficit, but hopefully some of that will be closed today, and then as we move forward we will see that increasingly closed as we grow into our budget. So practically you can reflect and change your giving by, if you currently have a standing order set up, then you can change that with your bank yourself. We do ask that you let me know that there is a change so that I can keep track of that and know how that impacts our budget moving forward, just from a governance point of view. But if you want to set up a new standing order, the best mechanism to do that is through give.net, which is managed by an organisation called Stewardship. So you can set up a one-off gift or a standing order through that. And I believe you can also tick a box to sort gift aid through that as well, which is really, really helpful for us with our administration as well. So I want to encourage you to reflect on your giving and reflect and ask God, all of this is yours. What can I keep? What is it that is being sowed into the kingdom from our finances in this next year? How can we be part of the answer to seeing this faith gap met? If, again, you do have any questions on any of this or you would like more details, then please do get in touch with me. I will be more than happy to answer any question relating to that. I hold the understanding of our finances alongside the trustees, the rest of the leadership team, or anyone else in leadership in the church. I don't know what other people give or so on. So if you've got any questions, then do get in touch with me and I'll be able to answer those confidentially without any problems. Right, okay, well, thank you for sticking with me this morning. I know it has been a bit longer, but I felt that it was really important for us to get that biblical grounding first, and then to be as transparent as we possibly can be in such a short time with where we are financially as a church. Guys, we are in a really healthy position because of such generous giving, and we are so excited to see how, as we move forward and continue to grow in this, excelling in this gift of giving, how much more resource will be outpoured to see Lighthouse Church really meet people where they are at and to see the kingdom advance here on Anglesey. So I will pass back over to the live gathering now.
Gwych. Diolch, Al. Thank you so much, Al, for doing all that work into putting that together to help us, just be transparent with what we're doing and what we're going after for this next year. It's just really exciting, being able to invest in people. That's just really exciting. So we are gonna, I'm gonna do notices now, just because there's some important info there, and then we're gonna finish with worship and the giving info, because obviously normally when we'd be physically gathered, we do like we did last Sunday with the basket going around and do the offering in that way. Obviously we can't today, so what we're going to do is we'll have the worship up and the link that Alan mentioned, so that you guys can do that now physically or in the next few days. So just spending some time with God and asking God, what is it you want me to do? That great question of how much should I keep is just a really helpful one. So I just want to share with you a few little gorgeous pictures from yesterday. So we had our make lunch celebration for all of our volunteers outside. We're getting so used to seeing pictures, aren't we, of everyone just 2 meters apart, and it was just fantastic to see you guys. And just we want to say again to the whole body of the church, just we want to honour these guys and thank them so much for all those that have cooked, organised, admin, done all the craft packs and got in their cars and delivered. And then yesterday we just particularly wanted to thank Kirsty, because actually in March, when we were all kind of trying to get our head around COVID and online church and just trying to gather people online, it was Kirsty who was like, right guys, we can't stop being missional. How do we love our community in this way? And so again, just on here, we just want to take that opportunity to thank you, Kirsty, for loving our community, the 69,000 people of Anglesey, the way you do, and the way you push our church and our community to be looking outwards in that way. So thank you so much. Also today we have a post-gathering coffee over Zoom. So the information is up there. I'll pop this again at the end. So again, so at midday, 12 o'clock, we'll gather to just catch up with each other over Zoom. So it'd be great to see you guys. And then small groups, thank you for being so patient with us. This really is a bit of a minefield, again, with the guidance from the government changing in Wales on Friday. So there is more information going to be coming in an email as we just work out logistics. But for now, this is what we have. So this week, the youth are meeting on Tuesday. Okay, so they're meeting Tuesday here in Paradwys in Carrigdŵr. The West Side are going to be meeting Wednesday at 7 o'clock here at Carrigdŵr. When we say Carrigdŵr, like outside. And then the daytime one with me and Kirsty leading are going to be meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to be meeting at the Dingle car park where the church is there, and going for a walk along the Dingle there together. Llandonna are meeting Wednesday night over in Llandonna and Kate and Barry's garden. And then Talon, John and Marie are meeting Friday night in their garden there. So that's what's happening this week. Unless you see, there might be changes just due to weather and stuff. So do just try and keep your eyes out on the small group WhatsApp page, and we'll try and get it in the email as well. But just thank you so much for being so patient with us with all of that. Again, we just do contact us if there's anything that is a pressing need or any pastoral issues. Please do get in contact with us with all of that. And next week we are going to be communicating some exciting stuff with some details about our first physical gathering. As we mentioned last week, our aim is to meet at least once a half term, and we've got a date in the diary for that, almost confirmed, with a venue that we think is going to be suitable for us all to gather. Which is really exciting. So more talk about that next week. And so for now, we're going to follow on from our talk. We're going to go into time of worship to finish, and the giving details are going to be on the screen so that we as a community can respond with our hearts and worship, and just be asking God, okay, God, in this season, how can I play my part in what God is doing here on Anglesey through Lighthouse Church? We just want to thank you so much for the generosity of you guys. It's been amazing. We, just even during COVID, you guys have just continued to invest in, and we just want to say thank you for that. It just, it's a huge privilege and honour to lead you guys, and we just thank you for just not taking your eyes off Jesus. So I'm going to pray, and then we're going to go into time of worship and giving. So Father God, we thank you that you are such a generous God. And Father God, would you just speak to our hearts through your Holy Spirit today and the next few days, as we just ask, what part do I play in this, Father God? Father God, would you just mould our hearts to reflect your glory, your joy, your gentleness, your generosity, Father God. Help us to be a cheerful, giving church, Father. And we just thank you for your generosity to us, Lord. Amen.
Wyt ti'n brifo di dryllio tu fewn, wedi llethu gan bwysau dy fai, mae Iesu yn galw. Ydy popeth yr ydwyt ar ben, sgen ti syched am y fel o'r ffrwg, mae Iesu yn galw. Tir dat yr Iesu yn cael. Tir dathal ar gorfoledd o ddaw, bywyd newydd o'r lludws yn dod, mae Iesu yn cael. O tir dat yr allor, mae breichiau'r tad yn awr ar led, mae ddeiant a brynwyd a gwerthfawr waed ein Iesu Grist. O tir dat yr allor, mae breichiau'r tad yn awr ar led, mae ddeiant a brynwyd a gwerthfawr waed ein Iesu Grist. O'r fath waredwr, ond dilyn rhyfeddol, can hallelujah, Christ a Godod. Bryga o'i flaenydd, ef y diwargwyd pawb, can hallelujah, Christ a Godod. O'r fath waredwr, ond dilyn rhyfeddol, can hallelujah, Christ a Godod. Blyga o'i flaenydd, ef y diwargwyd pawb, can hallelujah, Christ a Godod. O tir dat yr allor, mae breichiau'r tad yn awr ar led, mae ddeiant a brynwyd a gwerthfawr waed ein Iesu Grist. O tir dat yr allor, mae breichiau'r tad yn awr ar led, mae ddeiant a brynwyd a gwerthfawr waed ein Iesu Grist. Cariad groes y mae'r goron i ddod, dwed wrth bawb am y trysor a gest.
Sorry, forgot to unmute. So I was just saying thank you to Caddy. Diolch i Caddy or Caer Salem. Yeah, they're just great at letting us use their worship videos to bless the broader church. Hang on, Alan's telling me I'm not on mute. I know, look, I've just turned it off. Oh God, give us grace as we try and lead through COVID. Ar gofal. Diolch Iesu, you love us very much. Yeah, so thank you, Carcel, and just for being able to bless us with Welsh worship. So yeah, we do continue to encourage us all to just check our hearts with finances and possessions, because it is just a route that then we can get in and we can become selfish and self-centered, and we always just want to be growing in our generosity. So chat with your partner, spouse, or whatever it is, and about how you can play a part in this year's vision. Oh, so what was I saying as well that you guys didn't hear you? Thank you to Caleb for helping me co-lead this morning. Hope you guys enjoyed that bit of fun. We're hopefully going to have some more families following on our fruit of the Spirit as we try and learn all the fruits of the Spirit from Galatians 5. And then I'm just going to finish with the details for our post-gathering Zoom. So here we go. Hopefully see you guys on Zoom in 10 minutes. So 10 minutes to nip to the loo, get a tea or coffee or a bacon sandwich or whatever you're doing, and join us at 12 o'clock on Zoom. Can't wait to see you. Ta-da! Oh, ta-da!